Hello everybody, it's GrabMTG here, and today we have an extremely fun, extremely interesting, but extremely good Rograkh, Son of Rohgahh, and Ravos Soul Tender Infinite Combo EDH tech. So, Rograkh, Son of Rohgahh, is a 0-mana, 0-1 legendary Kobold warrior with partner. First strike, Menace, and Trample. So it's a 0-mana commander, and it's a Kobold, which is pretty awesome. And then we have Ravos Soul Tender, which is 3 white-black for a 2/2 legendary human cleric with flying and partner. He says other creatures you control get +1/+1, and at the beginning of your upkeep, you may return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. So the deck is mostly focused around Rograkh, but Ravos' colors is what we want. So we needed a Marduk deck for this infinite combo to work. So the focuses of the deck are to disguise our deck as a bad, janky Kobold tribal deck, because there are a couple Kobold tribal cards to seem harmless. Confuse our opponents with our strange partner combination. And then, mainly to win is to make an infinite combo to win the game out of nowhere. And when I say out of nowhere, I mean out of nowhere. Your opponents will never see it coming. So for ramp, we have Soul Ring, Mind Stone, and Arcane Signet. Classic ramp spells. Mind Stone costs 2 and taps for colorless, and Arcane Signet costs 2 and taps for 1 mana of any color in our commander's color identity. Then we have our 3 signets, which is Rakdos Signet, Orzhov Signet, and Boros Signet, which each are artifacts that cost 2, and we can pay 1 and tap them to add either black-red, white-black, or red-white. So, and then we have Marble Diamond, Fire Diamond, and Charcoal Diamond, which each tap for a color. And then we have Prismatic Lens, which costs 2 as an artifact and can filter our mana or tap for a colorless. So, our combo pieces are Enduring Renewal, our commander, Rograkh, and Goblin Bombardment. So if you don't know what Enduring Renewal is, it is a 2 white enchantment that says, play with your hand revealed. If you would draw a card, reveal the top card of your library instead. If it's a creature card, put it into your graveyard, otherwise draw a card. Those 2 paragraphs sound terrible. They're like bad, very major setbacks. However, the third section of text says, whenever a creature is put into your graveyard from play, return it back to your hand. So, this is very combo-tastic, and it combos with the Rograkh. So what we can do is cast Rograkh, get it, sacrifice him, which then triggers Enduring Renewal, putting him back into our hand. Then we can recast him for free, sacrifice him, return him to our hand, recast him for free, sacrifice him, return him to our hand infinitely, and then we can abuse triggers and make infinite triggers. So, the best card for this combo is Goblin Bombardment. There are other cards that we have in the deck just in case Goblin Bombardment is unavailable, it's destroyed, exiled, blah blah blah. And it says sacrifice a creature. Goblin Bombardment deals 1 damage to target creature or player. So basically, you sacrifice a creature to ping something. Rograkh, we play him, sacrifice him to Goblin Bombardment, ping our opponent. Then goes back to our hand, recast him, sacrifice him, Goblin Bombardment, ping someone. Goes back to our hand, play it again, sacrifice it, ping someone. Return to our hand, play it, sacrifice infinitely until all of our opponents are dead. So here are some alternate things for our combo. Phyrexian Altar and Ashdod's Altar are 2 artifacts that we can sacrifice a creature to add 1 mana of any color, or sacrifice a creature to add 2 colorless mana. These are good sacrifice outlets, and if Goblin Bombardment, for some reason we can't get it, we can play either of these, and then another card, and we can have infinite mana. So, some other sacrifice outlets are Woe Strider, 2 black, that says sacrifice another creature, scry 1, and Escape. Viscera Seer costs 1 black, and says sacrifice a creature, scry 1. And then Spawning Pit is a 2-mana artifact that says sacrifice a creature, put a charge counter on it, and then we can pay 1 and 2 charge counters from it, and put a 2/2 spawn artifact creature token into play. So, Some things that we can abuse if we have a sacrifice outlet are Altar of the Brood. Whenever another permanent enters the battlefield under our control, each opponent puts the top card of his or her library into his or her graveyard. So we can sacrifice Rograkh, hand, play him again, sacrifice, play him again, and when he comes into the battlefield infinite number of times, our opponents will be milled infinitely. We have Bastion of Remembrance. Whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life, so this, again, benefits from sacrificing Rograkh infinitely, which also gives us infinite life, which is kind of cool. Then we have Impact Tremors, which is 1 in the red for an enchantment. It says, whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. So again, if it comes into play infinitely, we deal infinite damage to our opponents. Then we have Perforos, God of the Forge, which basically does the same thing as Impact Tremors, but it deals 2 damage instead. Then we have Falcon Wrath Noble, which is 3 in a black. That says whenever it or another creature dies, target player loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. And then Zooport Cutthroat is very similar. When it or another creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So these cards, again, if Rograkh is infinitely sacrificed, then these will trigger infinitely. Then we have another one of those, which is Blood Artist, does pretty much the same thing. And then we have Auriok Champion and Soul Warden, which is whenever another creature enters the battlefield, we gain 1 life. So it can give us infinite life. And now we have our tutors. So this deck is on the expensive side, but because Imperial Seal is $500, but if you can't afford it, I think you can take out Imperial Seal, but I wasn't putting a budget on this deck, that's why. I was trying to make it as optimized as possible. So we have Enlightened Tutor, which is 1 white for an instant that says search a library for an artifact or enchantment and reveal that card. Shuffle your library and put the revealed card back on top of it. So if we already have Enduring Renewal, we can get Goblin Bombardment or any other useful artifact or enchantment, like Impact Tremors, for example. Then there's Imperial Seal, which is 1 black for a sorcery that says search your library for a card, shuffle your library, and put that card on top of it. You lose 2 life. Very good. And then Vampiric Tutor is very similar, except it's an instant. Then we have Demonic Tutor, which is one of the best tutors, which is 1 in the black for a sorcery that says search your library for a card and put that card into your hand, then shuffle your library. No downsides. Then we have Cruel Tutor and Grim Tutor, which says search your library for any card, shuffle your deck and put that card on top of it. You lose 2 life. And then Grim Tutor says search your library for a card, put that card into your hand, then shuffle your library, but you lose 3 life. So they're very similar. Then we have Idyllic Tutor, which says search your library for an enchantment card. We can either search for Goblin Bombardment or Enduring Renewal. Then we have Diabolic Tutor, which is a sorcery for 2 black back that says search your library for a card and put that card into your hand. Then we have Demonic Collusion, 3 black for buyback of discard 2 cards. So for the price of 1 card, or from this 1 card, we can get multiple of our pieces. Then we have Final Parting, which isn't the most ideal tutor, but we need all the tutors we can possibly get. So it says search your library for 2 cards, put 1 into your hand and the other into your graveyard, then shuffle. And then we have Beseech the Queen, which is 2 generic mana or a black, 2 generic mana or a black, 2 generic mana or a black. It's a sorcery. It says search your library for a card with a CMC less than or equal to the number of lands you control, reveal it, and put it into your hand and shuffle. So, for our janky kobold stuff, we have Obelisk of Urd, which is Convoke, and it says when it enters, could choose a creature type, then creatures of the chosen type get +2/+2. Vanquisher's Banner, 5 mana artifact that says enters the battlefield, choose a creature type, and then creatures of the chosen type gets +1/+1, and whenever you cast one of the chosen type, draw a card. Door of Destinies, 4 mana artifact, when it enters the battlefield, choose Kobold. Whenever we cast a Kobold, put a charge counter on it, and then creatures of the chosen type get +1/+1 for each charge counter on Door of Destinies. Then we have Coat of Arms, 5 mana artifact. It says each creature gets +1/+1 for each other creature on the battlefield that shares a creature type with it. Really good for tribal. Metallic Mimic, when it enters, we choose Kobold, and it's Kobold, and it also says other kobolds enter the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on them. Then we have a Rohgahh of Carekeep, 2 black, black, red, red, for a very janky legendary 5/5. At the beginning of our upkeep, we have to pay 3 red, or him and all other kobolds of Carekeep become tapped under our opponent's control. And but it also says all kobolds of Carekeep get +2/+2. So then we have the 3 Kobold tribal cards exclusively, which is Kobold Taskmaster, Kobold Overlord, and Kobold Drill Sergeant. So Kobold Taskmaster is 1 in the red for a 1/2. It says other kobolds get +1/+0. Kobold Overlord is a 1 in the red 1/2 Lord with first strike. And it says all kobolds have first strike. And then Kobold Drill Sergeant is 1 in the red for a 1/2 that says all kobolds get +0/+1 and trample. We have 3 kobolds, which is just 0 mana 0/1s that are red. Kobolds of Carekeep, Crookshank Kobolds, and Crimson Kobolds. So now we have some other stuff that does stuff. With Argivian Find, if they destroy one of our enchantments, we can return it back to our hand. Auriok and Mine Excavation both do the same thing. Then we have some alternatives for Rograkh with Ornithopter and Memnite. If, I don't know, he's exiled or they exiled him or like did something in response, you know, stuff. And then we have some board wipes, which can be very useful with Wrath of God and Damnation, which each cost 2 white, and then 2 black. And they say destroy all creatures that can't be regenerated, so we don't really care about our creatures, and when in doubt, we can just cast these. Then we have some card draw, which is Ancient Craving, Phyrexian Arena, and Outpost Siege. Ancient Craving says you draw 3 cards and lose 3 life. Phyrexian Arena says at the beginning of your upkeep, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. And Outpost Siege has a multi-purpose, which says when it enters the battlefield, choose Cons or Dragons. Con says at the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of your library until end of turn you may play that card. And Dragons can be a piece for infinite combat that says whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to any target. So for our mana base, we have Temple of Triumph, Temple of Science, and Temple of Malice, which each are dual lands that scry. Then we have Godless Shrine, Blood Crypt, and Sacred Foundry, all the shock lands in our color combination. Then we have 2 fetch lands with Marsh Flats and Arid Mesa. And then we have, of course, Carekeep, which is a legendary land that says tap and a colorless, and we can pay 1 in a red to tap it and put a 0/1 Kobold of Carekeep onto the battlefield. So then we're running 11 swamps, 8 mountains, and 9 plainses. And then, most important thing, subscribe. Yeah, that's all you have to do. Just subscribe, share it, like it, comment, and tell me what you think of the deck, because I'm very interested. And I'll see you next time.